my talk and then we'll invite our keynote speaker, and I'll try to keep my talk as short as possible. I wanted to share a few Rexis pearls, and I'll try to see if I can, one of my favorite pearls using a Rexis marker. I think, while I do femto and I do all other kinds of surgeries, including I've done Zepto and everything, I still feel that, using the Virion and all, I still feel that this is something which is so critical to getting a good surgery, because if you have the right size Rexis, the right shape, and at the right position, centered on the visual axis, just this inexpensive small device which costs just 3,000-4,000 rupees and will last you for the whole of your career is going to make it easy for you to make your perfect Rexis. You will be able to do your hard cataracts better. You can, place your lenses properly. So I think, again, in a mature cataract, when you can't get, that ring reflex from the red reflex, you can just put a drop of trypan blue where you put the Rexis marker on the cornea. And that allows you to stain the line along which, you're going to do that. Now you can see here, this is a bit of an intumescent cataract. Let me just mute this, please. I'm sorry. And you can see that, it begins to kind of run away a little bit. I quickly go from the side port and aspirate, and I further create another complication because, now it's extending from the other side. So put in adequate viscoelastic, deepen out the chamber, flatten the, mid periphery of the lens, and then using a micro-Rexis forceps from the side port, you can still manage to do these cataracts. This is the way the Rexis marker looks, and I've designed it over 3-4, variations, and finally, now it kind of meets all my requirements and works well. I have no financial interest. Coming on to another small video where, we have a situation where a bit of an intumescent cataract. I've decompressed it. It's a pediatric cataract, and I'm, operating on this child under general anesthesia, but the child is, still able to move the eye quite a bit. And you can see that it's beginning to go out. I'm using these special micro-Rexis forceps, which I really enjoy. They are made by many companies. I'm using one from Moria. Again, no financial interest, but you can see that you can get away by making one twirl and then doing a spiral Rexis. Now this, once you've completed one round, it is never going to run away. You can just keep removing that frill carefully, and this Rexis will never run away. Of course, unless you want it to run away by letting the chamber flatten completely or something else, you can still manage to get away with these Rexis. So a spiral Rexis can be very useful. Now here, sometimes you have a runaway Rexis, and you notice that, traditionally I had to pull out a really old video to show you this. This is how I would have done it 20 years back. Bring it back inside and be able to complete the Rexis. But today there is a more, definitive way of doing this. And today I would use this special maneuver, which, one of our senior colleagues has designed. Now, again, you can see here that the Rexis is running away. It's almost reached the edge of the pupil there. And I'm having a situation because the chamber is shallow. This irritating display, overhead display will go away in a moment. So immediately put viscoelastic and make sure that your chamber is deep. That helps dilate the pupil as well and neutralizes the forces of the lens. And then you can put a drop of viscoelastic over it. That allows you better visualization. Of course, if you don't have an irritating overlay like this, but okay, so I move it out of the way. Now you can see that the Rexis is slightly, it's reached here and it's almost going out. I have to bring it back. I would have done it the traditional way, but that sometimes leads for it to run out. But just see, you can use the Brand-Little's maneuver, which is very nice because, it is counterintuitive. You actually pull in the opposite direction of the way where you would normally do. So I'm going from a side port using a micro-Rexis forceps, and see the pull of my forceps. I'm going to pull it away rather than, pull it in the conventional way. See, I'm pulling it away and it'll come in. Just watch. And as I pull it in the counterintuitive direction, the Rexis comes back. So this almost works every time, and then you have rescued the Rexis and you can get away with it. Please try it next time if you don't already do this technique. Now, in spite of all these things, sometimes you'll end up with a situation like this, where you have a flag sign and then you have to manage it. So many things have been described, the Pancho Rexis by Dr. Mohan Rajan. I have my own way of doing it. Over the years, I've evolved, to this situation where now I obviously stain these, lenses which are intumescent, and then I can go in from a special, put in good viscoelastic and go in from a new port. So all my ports are sealed perfectly. My chamber is perfectly well sealed and tight. No visco can come out. And on a sealed eye with that neutralized anterior chamber, I puncture the capsule and immediately aspirate with a 26 or a 30 gauge needle and decompress the lens. Now, there have been a lot of ways described. If you go in from the main port or from the side port, the visco will come out, the chamber will shallow, and you may still have a flag sign. But this way, you will probably avoid this, and then you can go on and complete the Rexis. Yet there are challenges, and sometimes, you know, this getting the, if you don't have a high quality needle, just see what can happen. Just watch. I'm trying to go in and I'm not stabilizing the globe. So that's a mistake. Usually my needles are excellent. And for this one time, you know, just see what happened. It went and punctured the lens there. Just watch. You know, there was a sudden entry because, you know, there was a resistance. And I was able to go in, but I punctured the bag. And these intumescent cataracts, the chamber is very shallow. And then I have to now rescue that area. So I have a punctured capsule here, almost in a linear radial way. And this is a very intumescent cataract, and I have not been able to actually aspirate. So I'm in a tricky situation, and you can see that it's all friable capsule, it's going out. So I, you know, change course halfway through the surgery. I go around and I want to go around that area. I've used a lot of viscoelastic, and then using, and this patient is not very cooperative, is moving all over the place. Topical anesthesia, see, it starts going out again over there. And then I bring it in, it's almost run away. Can you see that? So it is very, very scary to see, and especially in these intumescent cataracts. Again, never hesitate to put in viscoelastic. Ideally, I would have put in Viscoat, but in this patient, there was no time to arrange Viscoat. I was using hydroxymethyl cellulose, but I'm able to bring it back. So very scary situation, saved, but ideal thing is don't let this happen. Make sure your instrumentation is good, your knives, your blades, you know, everything should be of A class. Your needles should be of A class. Now, this was, of course, a new needle, but sometimes the quality can be like that. Now, another situation where you know, I think I'll skip some of these Rexis slides because I want to save time. I'll come to one crux, you know, thing which I want to show today. This is one of them, and then I'll finish with one small, you know, thing which I want to discuss. So here again, intumescent cataract, I'm trying to do the Rexis. Sometimes, you know, as you're doing the Rexis, the visco escapes. Now here, this is a very old video, as you can see from the quality. I used to do Rexis with no micro Rexis forceps at that time, and this came out. The, you know, the redundant flap comes out with the viscoelastic because the visco is escaping from there. Now you are in a situation because, you know, if it runs out, it'll just, the Rexis will run out too. So there are several ways to manage this. You can push it back, or you can trim it like this and then put viscoelastic and make sure that, you know, you can complete it. So that way you can still manage it. Now I'll show you something. Let me pause this. Sometimes, in spite of everything that you might do, and you're doing this, you know, I've done everything right by putting in visco, deepening the chamber, going from a new 26 gauge incision, and yet just watch as I go in. I've again, you know, probably having some trouble there, but once I'm able to enter, I'm using counter pressure now, stabilizing the globe, going in. So maybe I should shift to 30 gauge needles, but sometimes, you know, they don't aspirate so well. Now just see what I'm going to do. I've put in a lot of visco inside, and very intumescent. The moment I touch it, so I didn't even have a chance. I couldn't aspirate. The moment I touched it, it ran away. Now, Dr. Dhami has done some amazing work on this, on OCT for predicting intumescent cataracts. And you can do an OCT to tell you whether there are fluid-filled pockets, and you can predict those cataracts where there's a very shallow chamber. Look at this cataract, and you can see this on the OCT. All this is fluid-filled. These are the fibers, and you can see how much intumescence is there in this cataract. And now, if you don't have an OCT, what can you do? You can go on the slit lamp. Can you see this fluid filled pocket over here? Again over here. So if you have a very bright illumination and a good quality slit lamp, you don't need an OCT. You can still see the entire capsule, and you can see this, and it can still save you the day. So take home messages. Mark your Rexis well for, actually there are so many things that you could speak for an hour on how to get your Rexis the right way, but mark your Rexis for the right size, shape and centration. Use the right viscoelastics for the given situation. Always have a good formed anterior chamber. Good instrumentation is very important, as you could see from some of my videos. Good visualization, so a very good microscope, again, very, very important. Stain the capsule whenever in doubt. Preempt complications by anticipating them. Good slit lamp examination is usually very, very good, and good you know, examination on the microscope before you start operating, and always keep learning. So with that, I think I'll stop here.